It's interesting that Hookers is actually the team that picks it.
Yeah, I mean, what you've seen them go for here is instead of picking for themselves, they've picked a counter strat. And I like the idea behind it.
Yeah.
It is slightly risky, though, if you yourself are not too confident on them. And when you look towards both of these two opening maps, they've had moments of brilliance on it, but I wouldn't say it's their most confident picks. You know, you look towards your Bind and Haven being the two maps that they love the most, hence, of course, why they're banned out immediately. So it's this idea about counter stratting, hence where the Breeze came through as well. If they went towards Fracture, it's a complete coin flip. They've both got a 50% win rate in Polaris alone, so they don't want to risk it. Go towards Breeze, there's a slight leniency in that sense, but even still, by counter-stratting at the same time, if you yourself aren't confident, it could shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, Neo, I have a very important question for you here. And that is, you know, as we're coming towards the end of this pre-show, my question is going to be, looking at the performances of the teams here at Polaris so far this weekend, how comfortable are you feeling for those VRL finals?
Oh, I mean, when we look towards last season, you know, I'm a man who likes to follow the stats, the trends, right? We look towards last season, XL, our reigning champions. We were so hopeful for Northern Europe and the UK. Everything was looking great. And we get towards the next stage, of course, after Polaris. And what happens? We get rolled. And I think this has been a kind of a thing about the just this general region, right? The UK and Nordics, about we're very confident, right? And we have a lot of talent here, but we're not able to utilize the talent to step up. There seems to be a big disparity between Tier 1 Valorant in this region and then kind of Tier 2 and Tier 3, etc., right?
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest thing. They need to put that work in if they want to step in towards those finals. And, well, a lot of work needs to be done.
Yeah, well, we're going to be heading into Agent Select, and that's the first stepping stone of the work that both of these teams need to do. And P, what's standing out here?
Hey.
Oh, I like these picks. I like the Fade Race coming in from KOVA. They haven't played that composition quite yet on this map. And obviously they are going for these new picks. The Astra is new. They used to play this Omen. I think everything else, or the Killjoy, the Jet, is pretty basic. I saw that coming. But Ale going for the Race was kind of a mystery, I guess.
I'm liking the Fade and Raze combo. It's something, as you mentioned, not too common for KOVA, but at the same time, I think it really has moments of brilliance for this. Who cares? They might have their work cut out here.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out which team is going to be walking away with the win on the first map. We have Twiggy and Moxie once again on the casting desk. Guys, take it away.
Well, it is time for our first map of the day. Guys, gals, non-binary pals, it's lovely to have you here once again. This time it's me and Moxie first. How you doing, Moxie?
I'm doing good. I'm doing even better after seeing the comp that KOVA are coming in with, because this is actually something very similar that they like to run to on Haven, right? Where normally we do see the Fade and the Astra, but it's a Neon who's trying to take capitalization off of the Gravwells and the Caesars. This time around, it's actually going to be double duelists, so both Shed and Ale are going to be getting an absolute platter, a smorgasbord of utility to set themselves up early on in these rounds. Starting off on the defense, they're going to want to get right in.
Yep, Hukar's playing a very, very default comp. This is exactly what you think of when you think of Ascent. So we'll have to see how they can adapt to KOVA's less standard comp here. Let's call it that. I haven't really seen that one too often here on Ascent, even in pug lobbies, and you never know what people are going to pick in those. So, but I do like two Killjoys. You know, this is one of those maps where you could go with any Sentinel whatsoever. Killjoy is always a fun one though, because it means you can just hold down one of those sites for free, no matter what, and just as long as you're staying somewhere near it, means you have a nice bit of control. Well, Hookahs are going to start off this attack with some tempo. Trying to push out the KOVA players, but they have already convened right next to them. Sutma, the one holding down sight, but Mishu gets involved as well. Sutma's going to have to back all the way up into Boathouse. Mishu getting more work done. Sutma is the last player standing, and nobody can do anything about it here in KOVA. Hookahs just come out with that pushing power.
Yeah, it's really surprising for KOVA as well. Like, the composition that they're running, both the Gravwell and the Seas, can be used to immediately initiate in for these defenses, but they actually let Hookahs a lot closer than you would expect before we actually see those bits of utility coming through to try and grab out these players. And it does mean that despite coming in with both the Raze and the Jet, it's Hookahs who makes first contact and who's able to find first blood. They don't get stuffed up in main like you would expect. And they're able to get onto that site and open things up, as this buy for them is definitely going to open up a lot of space, especially towards mid. KOVA have to be so careful about how they want to control that space, especially with Akimbo now getting to read out where that Killjoy is going to be, knows that the Nano Swarms aren't going to be there over towards main.
Yeah. Puts a little bit of pressure there on KOVA, as they now don't know exactly where or when Hookahs are going to make their attack happen. And it is Sunshine that opens things up over towards, or B across mid, over towards A short there. And with mid control, it means that Hookahs now control the tempo of the game too. KOVA playing to their tune, the Pied Piper flute, as it were.
They're so far away from B because they know if it is a rotation that they have to pull off, they can't cross through mid. They don't have the armor to be able to survive those Marshall shots from coming on through. But Hookahs have decided to take things a lot closer. David just using that Marshall to bully KOVA and let Mishu cross over from tree onto the actual site.
Oh, David gets a bit too close for comfort. Sutmer will take his head off for that, but luckily the team has done a lot of damage already. They close that door and they get that spike down. It's the most important part. Most of KOVA now on very low HP. Only one player still full, and that is Yesmond. Oh, those are so close. Oh, there's the first from Mishu through the floor into Vicious's kneecap. Marstal gets some more work done. Yeah, that's a short-lived retake from KOVA. They aren't managing to get much done, at least 2 kills. Not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was the outcome that we expected looking at the bye that KOVA were coming in with. This for them is much more important, right? If they lose this one, that's when we really start to ask questions, because they should be coming in with these first points of contact. They should be dictating the tempo, but they're being very hesitant, very nervous to actually try and pressure Hookahs. The fact that Hookahs just with 1 dot cover and a Marshall are able to keep 3 members of KOVA in tree, stuffed up, letting them access that A site, goes to show just how nervous this defense really is.
At least now they have the firepower to hold back. Hookahs are looking to, I think, go for a pretty aggressive play, knowing that they have those shorter range weapons. They need to get involved very quickly here. Over towards B. The utility of KOVA is going to keep them back for a little bit. That tether is going to make sure most of them don't even leave main. David does manage to get in and get 1 pick, but not until Yesmond can get that trade. Yesmond gets his 2nd, backing up the rest of Hookahs well into link area.
Yeah, KOVA running a composition which is pretty much entirely countering Hookahs' strategy in this round. If you want to try and bundle up and go for the death ball, you're running into not just the nano swarms, which can slow you down, but also that seize, that grab that comes out from Yesmond as well. And so now, without really the utility, they're still going to be trying to push their way out, looking for the picks. They've already been able to part 1 rifle from the defense. They're going to be looking for a little bit more.
Mishu uses that recon dart, see if anybody is over towards lane. Luckily, KOVA well avoiding that one. And Ale will turn around the corner, find the first and the second, looking for a third. And they know exactly where that one is. Akimbo stuck in the corner now, just going to be pushed down by that Raze utility. Make sure nothing can be done. Almost a flawless round from KOVA.
Yeah, Hookahs really looking just to part any gun from KOVA. The fact that they use the recon ball and the 0 point just to check those angles and make sure it's safe enough that no one is going to be immediately around one of those really sharp corners goes to show that they want to know where those players are so they can start to pre-fire. However, this time we are going to see both teams coming in equal footing in terms of the weaponry. Yesmond playing pretty close that Nightfall is making it a little bit harder for Hookahs to try and push onto these sites as aggressively as we've seen. That Fade is really starting to come in clutch in terms of delaying these pushes, opening up with the Prowler as well to get the information so you hold on to that seize, knowing that, okay, we're going to have that if Hookahs decide to try and bundle up and push once more.
Sunshine buddying up with the turret here, up on top of Hut. This could do a lot of damage as Yesmond and Ale push through, and he will find the first. Doesn't know that there's one right below him, but with the turret being destroyed, that's going to give a little bit of info. Ale is the one who will find the pick instead, bringing it down to a 4v3. KOVA holding on to their map positioning, and the rest of Hookahs congregate towards A main.
They can push, they can go in fast. Yesmond's not going to be around, but you have to manage to clear Shed. And that Astra Star is giving them a little bit more food for thought. The Nano Swarm and a Nebula push through as well to let Shed start to move forward. Has been suppressed, sees the Omen Hood, holds the trigger discipline, is waiting for Akimbo, and there it is. Unfortunately for Hookahs, even though they're able to take that Fade down so early on in the round and stopping that Nightfall threat, they're still just not able to make it out of main because of the amount of utility, the gauntlet that KOVA just cycles through.
Yeah, the pop flash from Akimbo was effective in getting them past that choke point, but in the end, you're running into 4 players with a lot of utility usage available. As you can see, Vicious is holding up on top, and then Shed is there for the crossfire. In the end, even though Akimbo manages to find that pick, Hookahs in a difficult position economically. 4 sheriffs for them, with the hero rifle in the hands of Akimbo. We saw him take that up several times yesterday. It worked out quite well for the team. However, it's a tough task to take this one. They're just going to ult get straight in there. See how much damage they can do. Sutma in the corner. Manages to spray down one, but no more than that. Akimbo is on that. The trade from Vicious puts him on the ground, but David and Mask get 2 each. Yesmond to the rescue. And in the end, KOVA do clear up the pieces. It's a decent round for an eco from Hookahs.
Yeah, Hookahs are happy, right? They were able to get 3 rifles away. They weren't able to get a spike plant, but with the round that they were coming in with, all that off of the null command is pretty good for them because they do have every ultimate on their side ready and waiting to go forward, and you can really cycle into these. If you want to try and brute force in a way that we saw with the null command, you can drop that lockdown. You can force KOVA to try and move away, punish the fact that they don't have that Sova. They don't even have a breach. Nothing can really on this team actually destroy that lockdown without you having to find it yourself.
Prowler immediately from Yesman once again. David is waiting here with the Blade Storm. The rest of the team fully bought up. Luckily, just enough money to get a pretty convincing buy going.
Oh, David's got the Blade Storm, but Shed's got the Bullet Storm. He's bought the Operator.
Indeed. Watching mid all the way up that side, usually you'll see the Jet play either aggressively on B or across mid. He's playing all the way up mid. A little bit of a different position for a Jet, but in the other area, David right up close. Blade Storm backs up. Probably a smart choice. That Boombot would have given away his location very quickly. And options are dwindling for Hookahs, but Mask will take off the head of Sutma across mid. There's Shed with the Operator and finds the first. It's a trade onto Mask, a bit of revenge for that kill. David's still yet to fire off a single blade, but Mishu will be able to find a kill for the team and disables that Killjoy utility, gets him in towards side as well. Ale has to get that paint grenade involved and the showstopper as well. Looking for more. Can't find anything just yet. Akimbo is right below him. He won't see him. He will send that off into Generator. It won't find anything. Yesman's there with the trade as Sunshine comes in from behind and gets a pick through window. It's a 1v1. He does have his lockdown available. He's recalling his bots and he's going to rotate round to B.
Oh, and Shed has to drop the Operator and go for the Phantom now. 12 seconds left, more than enough. Oh, it's going to be dicey. Should be able to just get enough time. Yeah, there it is. 4 seconds needed to plant, and Shed's going to be coming around. For KOVA, if they lose this round, they've already lost the Operator. Even if they win this round, they've lost the Operator. But Sunshine!
No way! No way! That doesn't. You can't do that to a man with a family. It's not allowed. He 180s him. He doesn't even have to use the lockdown. Who cares? He wasn't looking the right way for 99% of that. He was not looking the right way.
And it's just that 0.1% of a second that's needed to clock the Jet.
Sunshine is a monster. I said it yesterday, I'll say it again.
KOVA are going to be so annoyed about that, because that means that now they have to buy the Operator again, even though they were ahead in terms of that economy, because they have things like the Jet and that Blade Storm to rely on. They now have to spend the big bucks to buy the Operator once more so that Shed can try and anchor mid early on in these rounds and force Hookahs, funnel them towards these sites for all the remaining members of KOVA to be able to meet them, so that those nano swarms, those Fade utilities, can find as much value as they've been previously.
And they've already figured out his location, so he has to switch it up to B lobby. He will find a pick onto Sunshine, which is all he needed after what happened last round. Who knows what he'll come up with if you leave him alive to the end. And now that lockdown is not available for play, just a Hunter's Fury and a From the Shadows for the team. There is a lot you can do with those 2 ultimates. And Hookahs want to play A this time. Once again, Algro in through tree for Mishu. Clear out those areas at the very least. Shock Dart.
It's only temporarily though. Vicious still wants control of tree because they do have the lockdown, but Hookahs want control of tree to stop that lockdown from stopping them getting over onto that A site.
Mishu manages to find the first kill and he'll just destroy the lockdown for free. That's unlucky timing there for Vicious. Not going to manage to get anything more than that. A headshot through the wall onto Sutma as well will do a lot of damage for the team. David getting involved on the kill feed. Mishu takes off the head of Vicious. Now he's looking for a couple more. He'll find the finishing kill on Sutma. Shed manages to get the trade, but now it's a 1v3 and he's only got an Operator in his hands, and there's so many ways that you can make that useful, but I don't think it's going to be for this round.
Yeah, there are so many ways you can make that gun useful, but it is going to be in the next couple of rounds for KOVA. Like, they can't afford to buy 2 Operators in 2 rounds. Like, that's absolutely insane on their economy. It will break. And unfortunately for KOVA, their round was broken when Vicious tried to drop that lockdown. And Mishu doesn't even need to throw in the Hunter's Fury to destroy it. Just gets to see the position and then shoot it down. A little bit of a misplay coming out from KOVA there, knowing that There is a Sova around. You just saw your Raze go down to it. And then you pretty much in the same location. The corpse not even really dried off. Just immediately that. Raze falls and then 0.5 seconds later there's a lockdown and Misha goes, ooh, juicy.
Hey, Ale, can you guard me while I plant down this lockdown? That'd be lovely, says Vicious. And Ale's like, yeah, I got you, bud. And then he dies. And then the lockdown dies, and you had one job. You had one job, Ale.
Yeah, and now KOVA, like, they have to control these entrances. They can't let Hookahs really onto these sites because they've got the Hunter's Fury, which they can lurk with for when that spike goes down. They're initiating with the lockdown. KOVA can do nothing against this. They don't have a Sova, they don't have a Hunter's Fury, they have nothing to destroy it. And now they're just gonna have to try and cut them off at the pass.
Shed firing blindly through that smoke to try and find one kill, one leg maybe, just get some damage done, but nothing at all found. And in the end, he gets locked down. Ale will find 2 with the Bulldog in quick succession, though. That gives him an opening for this one. A shock dart, once again, hopeful from Mishu there. Won't find any tags, but out comes the Hunter's Fury, and it'll tag up Ale, and it'll make Shed force that retreat. He finds another kill with it as well from below heaven. He's looking for some more. Shed takes down one with the Blade Storm, but he has a lot of area to clear and not a lot of time, and he's revealed. Mishu takes him down, and Sunshine will clean up the round. Hookahs managing to clutch up once again. Maybe a round that KOVA, we weren't expecting them to win, so they did well, but they did invest some ults there.
They invested the Operator and the Cosmic Divide, Twiggy. That Hunter's Fury, like, the positioning from KOVA, that all of them were in rafters. And that they didn't have any room to try and dance between. Shed is the only one who really survives the onslaught, and he has to use both updrafts to be able to escape the blasts. It is perfect from Mishu, and it's exactly why KOVA put Shed into rafters, got into the position to be detained, trying to get those picks to stop just that situation, but now they've already lost Shed. It is going to be a trade, Jet for Jet, and immediately KOVA able to come in with the rifle spray, because Hookahs still tried to push.
Yeah, Hookahs maybe not making the best decision there in the split second. In the end, it is just Akimbo alive. And Ale will take off the head for a 4K, leaving KOVA only 1 round away from Hookahs, but Hookahs definitely have enough economy to soak up that sad time.
So we see 2 sides from Hookahs, right? We see the Hookahs when they're in post-plant, and they've been able to draft players into hell and set themselves up into those really punishing positions. And then we see the Hookahs who can't actually make it onto Ace side.
Yeah.
And that's when we see them struggle. That's why KOVA are putting so much value in trying to delay this attacking team for as long as they can. The problem for them is that it really does come down to, can you take David out before the rest of Hookahs are in position to try and keep themselves safe through those Cloud Bursts before the Jet has made that amount of space. And so for KOVA, a successful defense really is determined in the first moments when Hookahs try to push.
We'll see exactly what happens in the first few moments here. Ale playing off the back of the turret, does manage to find a kill with it. Sunshine down on the ground. And Hookahs now have to rethink. Well, there are 2 sites. Which one? Let's go for the one we've gone every other time. Hey it is. Mishu is well trained at opening up tree there. We'll find that first kill. And some ults invested there. They're just going to head straight on in. If Mishu can keep this point defended, they can definitely get in on site, definitely get the spike down, maybe have a chance at defending this one. Sutma can't get towards the door in time to shoot under it. So they actually have to play this in a full retake. Akimbo is going to push aggressively with the Spectre. It's not going to do him any favors, but he gets back in time to survive, and that's 2 for Ale with the showstopper. Just leaving Mishu by himself. He'll find 1 head, but no more than that. And KOVA do manage to take the round in the end.
Yeah, Hookahs go straight for that A site, knowing that Shed has been taken out, knowing that Rafters is going to be clear. Unfortunately for them, they also can't manage to get clear of Ale's Raptor showstopper.
Yeah.
And it punishes and picks out 2 of them because they were expecting everyone to pop out from Garden. And yeah, KOVA will 100% punish that one. Ale picks up a 2K with the Raze ult and is able to win the round back for KOVA. As for Hookahs, it is now a timeout because Twiggy, they bought into that previous round. They pulled out the Operator, they pulled out the big guns. And it means that the little guns are what they're going to be running in with this round.
Yeah, the very little guns. Actually, it looks like...
Bulldogs. Yeah. Bulldogs are a little chunky.
Yeah, Bulldogs are quite chunky. You know, a Sheriff is... It seems like about double the size of a Classic, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
That is a chunky gun. for a handgun, I would say. But, you know, yeah, in the end, yeah, look, above average. Actually, no, all of the guns are impressive size.
No, Classic's a dinky water pistol.
No, definitely above average.
I don't know what skins you've been using, Tiggy, but my Classic pistol is absolutely tiny, as KOVA are going to be feeling pretty confident going into this round.
Hookahs need to get something done here. They're going to be 1 round behind, and they only have 2 rounds left in the half. To try and make something happen, I mean, we've seen Hookahs pull out Ecos so many times. Eco wins.
I mean, it's not about the size of the gun, it's the accuracy of the Sheriff headshot is what this round is going to be determined on for Hookahs.
And that's why it's above average, exactly. Right, Ale holding down mid. He is not going to be suppressed. Good reactions there on the knife. Make sure nothing happens to his ability to throw out that paint grenade, although it will not find anybody. As Hookahs, they've repositioned themselves over towards B main. They want to make an attack happen. This is a lot slower than we've seen them for the last few rounds, that's for sure. But some of the most successful rounds we've seen from Hookahs is where they delay, they make the opposite team sweat, and they give them time to think about things.
Well, they're going to be thinking about whether or not they want to move into mid. And Shad is hoping that they do decide to. As at the moment, Ali is just trading a couple of bullets, baiting them into thinking that maybe there's not going to be a player in market.
Uh-oh.
And that's going to be the Sheriff shot coming on through. Shad not quite able to escape. The operator going to be lost from KOVA. As now Yasmin is making sure that Hookahs can't use the kill to grab up space. They are going to feel a lot more confident moving into main. But the turret will be able to pick them out. And Yasmin still being alive. It's getting a little bit more worrying for Hookahs.
The utility is going to be used to stop them from getting in, but Hookahs are just so effective with pure gunplay. And Akimbo takes off the head of one more player from the team. Ale is going to come in and find 2 with a spray. Mars is there for the trade and gets Sutma down as well, leaving Vicious on his lonesome. Mars gets a 3K with the Sheriff, making it 6 rounds for Hookahs. What did I say? What did I say? Oh,
Sheriff headshots.
So good. Yeah, exactly.
Like, name a better duo.
Hookahs have finally woken up, I think. That was definitely a putting KOVA in their place kind of round. I feel like that is definitely a, you know, they had a tough time last night, and I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get a lot of sleep. I wouldn't be surprised if they're kicking themselves after yesterday's performance. You know, a couple of tiny changes, and it could have gone the other way.
They're just going to brute force it. They're going for the full stack onto B, knowing that they have these ults, and they're going to go fast.
There's no, Vicious is just going to hide here, knowing that nobody can come to his aid. He will just take the head off of Sunshine. David trying to hold down sight. Musk comes to the rescue to find 1 kill. They are in on sight, but hot on their tails are the whole KOVA side. Akimbo and Mishu still yet to come in, but Yasmin is going to find 1. David coming round with a Blade Storm, takes 1. Looking for more now, but Shed through the wall, finding Masked. Akimbo can't get anything done. It's all up to you, David. Blade Storm in hand, and he'll right-click onto Vicious's head. Take down 1 more kill. 2 players left to deal with. Shed just round the corner here. He'll take the head off of that one. The spike is on the other side of sight, but he only needs to find Sutma if he wants to win this round. Can he do it? He cannot. Sutma makes it 6-6, clutches up the round for the team. It was hanging in the balance, but KOVA managed to make it even Stevens.
Oh, that could have gone so much more differently. Twiggy if Hookahs had check logs.
Oh.
Twice in 2 rounds now. They've lost needless players, needless deaths by not checking logs, and if they just had 1 more person alive, they would have been able to take that one. But as it is, KOVA will be able to survive, and we will go into the half. Even Stevens, 6-6, as they do now swap sides. KOVA coming in with a very defensively favored composition too does mean that a lot of that win conditions hangs in the balance of actually getting onto these sites, getting that spike down so that they can turn the tide against Hookahs, cycling through the utility, stopping them from being able to get clean rotations and pushing onto the site as a team. The problem is that they're going to be walking into a KO and an Omen, who anchored together absolutely beautifully over onto that A site. It's so hard to get onto the sites past those 2 agents.
Well, it's going to have to be interesting strat. You can see they're playing it slowly and biding their time. An opening pick would massively help KOVA in any of the situations. that their comp lends itself to. David just going to try peek the corner and get away with his life, with all of his health intact, in fact. Meaning KOVA now have control of mid, but they need to find something to do with that.
Yeah, Hookahs have a lot of information though, because they may not have mid control, but they've had David making sure, sitting in defender spawn, to see if KOVA have actually tried to worm their way in deep off of that mid control. And they haven't heard anything. So it is going to be a side push coming out from KOVA, and Hookahs know this, and look at the position that they're going to be in over onto that A side. You have to keep an eye on Mast, who's coming up from one. Is able to find one, is able to find two. Will finally go down. David sees the jet dash, knows that you have to fall a little bit further back into garden, but Hookahs can still stay in this. It's 2 versus 2.
Oh, that's brilliant from David. He knows Vicious is still in that corner after pressing that button to get the door down. He just spams through it. The Sheriff, perfect for that situation. Shed is now left alive with the spike, trying to defend it, but down come the two Hookahs players, biding their time, taking this slowly. Shed finds one through the edge of the wall. David on the ground. It's just Mishu left to find his leg to finish off the round. KOVA start off their second half exactly how they want to.
Shed! How? Oh my goodness, KOVA. It's an absolute knife edge that they're able to take that round, and it's all thanks to Shed. Desk highlighted him. He is one of those players that you have to watch. That's nasty. That wallbang coming out from David, but this is even nastier. Look at that. Is able to find David, props up the dash, just in case, doesn't even need it.
Yeah. He's clean with it.
Oh man, Hookahs are gonna be so annoyed over that round. It was 2 versus 1. They knew exactly where the Jet was playing from too. And now they're coming in on a dreadful buy. Sheriffs and a frenzy for Mishu. David knows that you just have to find some level of aggression early on, some pick to make KOVA sweat.
Vicious and Ale work in tandem to take down David. And then pushes back the Hookahs players a little further. B usually going to be the site that Killjoy anchors on. They know that. They've heard the utility already. In goes that Boombot to try and clear lane. Mishu and Sunshine sat on site. He'll find one over towards Boathouse. That's all the info KOVA get before they push in. Sunshine waiting for them. It only takes
It's all an illusion though, Twiggy. Look where the spike is. KOVA have been able to entirely check out A side, and they've liked what they've seen. All of that noise that they've made over onto the B has allowed them free passage, free entry, and a free spike plant. And now Hookahs coming in with Sheriffs and a Frenzy are going to have such a hard time rotating cleanly.
My world has been turned upside down. KOVA, why have you done this? I've lost all sense of sanity. It's a flawless attack round.
This is something we didn't see from Hookahs on their attack. We didn't really see the full fake coming out to try and make that defense think that they're pushing somewhere they're actually not. And for KOVA, Hookahs fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. They're feeling so happy about that round because now they're coming in, they're hardly having to use any cash.
Yep.
Whereas Hookahs, it is going to be a rifles round for them, but it's still a hair's breadth. If they take this one, then they can try and make that recovery towards their economy. If not, they're going to be back onto the eco.
Oh, KOVA. Nothing, no pressure for them right now at all, interestingly. Even if they don't get anything out of this round, they've still got enough to buy into the next, so who cares? Haha. Who cares? They care. David's going to have to give up mid-control once again. Seems to be the story of his life so far, as he just plays passively. And KOVA make their way around mid, looking for something. Vicious is managing to find shots onto David, and David is not managing to find anything in return. And KOVA take control of a short, looking for a pincer maneuver.
Yeah, Hookahs now actually satisfied to just hold on to these sites with crossfires. They saw what happened when they gave up that positioning, and they do not want to find themselves making the same mistake twice. If it is going to be an A push, you're going to be running into the duo of Akimbo and Mast with those flash drives, with the fragments, with the paranoia that can really make it very hard for a duelist to be able to find momentum and get these teams in, especially with those rifle spray. Any delay that KOVA find themselves stuffed up in is going to allow so much rifle spray to come on through. And there it is, KOVA not quite fast enough. We'll be able to find a couple of picks, but it's just Yasmin even uses the Nightfall. They want this round, Twiggy.
Yeah, this did mean quite a lot. You know, losing this round, not too bad. all good. But winning this round is a pretty much guaranteed entry into double digits. Hookahs, in the end, are tough enough to brave it out. And a nice flash onto Shed there before he moved in did kind of gift them that one, as Shed is just right in the middle of everything. Ale taken down too. Akimbo holding down very well. That's just good crossfire play.
Yeah, KOVA needed that Nightfall to be ready far earlier than it was used, and unfortunately it did take Yasmin 2 picks to be able to charge that one up, so they didn't have it to initiate with. And when you don't flash in your entrance, and the team has rifles, you don't really survive the push, Twiggy, as now KOVA being very cautious, very concerned to see if Hookahs are trying to push the advantage with those rifles once again, using that KO for early levels of contact. They've already been conditioned to expect masked in wine, and they're going to be able to clear him.
All right then. It's the first time KOVA have looked a little concerned in a few rounds. Akimbo turns around the corner and Ale just finds him with the paint grenade. David is now the last player remaining towards the site, but his teammates are going to join him swiftly. Sees the head of Shed, but Shed just gets around the corner in time, and Vicious comes in from behind the traders there from David. But Misha was just getting sprayed through. You can hear Sova protesting those.
51 HP. I think for Hookahs, it's just gonna be call it around, save the rifles. You know, like, it's so close, every single bit of economy, every single gun that you don't have to buy into in these rounds is really going to come in so much importance. And KOVA know this too. They are going so far out. Yasmin is being tasked the bounty hunter to currently try and sniff out Hookahs' positions and rip away those guns.
Well, Hookahs are probably a little shell-shocked right now. This was their map pick. They should be doing quite a lot better. They'd asserted their dominance over KOVA earlier on in the season already. And this time, they're not quite finding the success that they'd want.
Yeah, I mean, for Hookahs' composition, right, it is very reliant, when you look at these crutches of defense, on being able to play off of each other. There's a lot of synergy that you need to have happen, especially when you're playing that Omen and that KO. You need to be able to trust that Masked is not going to go down first, because that Omen needs to be there with the paranoia. The KO has to give the information on where to send the paranoia, but you need to be able to hit them with that stun. And that's not really happening. Masked and Akimbo aren't trading utilities to keep themselves safe. And it's becoming a little bit of a detriment, because what should be anchoring the A and shutting it down entirely, forcing KOVA to go to the B side, is actually opening up a site. They're seeing it's the weaker part of this defense, and they're able to pressure it out.
David is going to be first contact hit. Sees the shoulder peek from Ale, but Ale gets away unscathed. David is now the one who has to leave his post. Prowler is not going to find anything. The KOVA still have all the time in the world to play with. Well, 1 minute. Same thing.
They have to be fast, though, because with 1 minute, like, that's a lot of time. You would think so. But Akimbo is holding on to null command. So if KOVA find themselves in a 30-second situation and they can only push one site and null command gets popped, that's when they're going to go down to potentially rifle spray of David and the sheriff shots coming out from Masked, as well as Akimbo just holding in tree with a shorty pointed.
Yeah, I think he's more interested in this shorty right now. And you can see that he's being helped by his teammates, just trying to keep attention away from him.
Oh, the Spike's going to be moving from there too.
Oh, David in a perfect position. He'll find two. Sutma and Vicious get on the board, and Sutma's there with the trade. But it's still 2v2 now. Must finds ahead of Vicious. That's the FPX stand-in that we're looking for. Sutma finding one more, and it's just Sunshine to try and find the last. But Sutma has a better weapon. He'll finish it off. He'll make it 10 for the team with a 4K.
Oh, Twiggy, the round flashed before my eyes. I'm sure it flashed before Akimbo's as well. That could have been massive. The fact that they were not expecting both David to be sitting on site still and Akimbo. He's able to get Spike Carrier too.
Party's over.
But KOVA, just with the better guns, are able to retaliate with that spray, and then Sutton's able to find one with 12 seconds left. Is able to grab up that last. And KOVA able to finish out the round, as Hookahs can now afford to buy into the operator. They will still have that null command to try and keep KOVA at arm's length so that the operator can find a lot more value in those distance opening hesitations that the attacking side can fall into. But look at where KOVA are positioned. They know that the operator is going to be online, And they're making sure if anyone from Hookahs tries to push in with the operator, they're gonna be ready and waiting to catch it.
Lockdown is utilized by KOVA here, trying to make their way in towards B. And the Cosmic Divide comes out too, to make matters worse for Hookahs, who just wanted an easy ride in this round. Yesman is going to make his way through all the way up mid. David finding one on short A. Could act as a false push here. Yesman is all the way in behind. Somebody's got to turn around at some point. Oh, he fires a shot. That gives away his position. He will still find the kill onto Sunshine, and Mishu is also taken down. Akimbo still in the corner, and hopefully nobody knows where he is, because it's now a 3v3, and if they lose another player, it's going to make things very difficult in this retake.
I mean, are they even going to go for it? They bought the operator. Their economy is going to be in absolute disrepair if they don't manage to spot out Yasmin either. The op shot's going to come through, immediately signaling where that jet is going to be moving off of the back front, but Vicious is waiting in lane. Yasmin's in market. It's going to be so hard for Hookahs to have any control on this situation already. Master and David is down. The operator has been lost. It's just Akimbo trying to get in with that null command to push Vicious away, but you can still fire through the KO ult. And Vicious with the Vandal is exactly as his namesake, absolutely vicious.
Vicious and delicious.
Not so tasty for Hookahs. That's gonna be
That's
gonna be a tough lemon to bite into when you look at the state of their economy.
I always hate a tough lemon. Not only is it hard to get into, but it's bitter when you get into it in the end.
Kind of like Hookahs' buy. They're just gonna be going into this one, to be honest. Like, they have certain win conditions that can still come online, right? David with those Blade Storms can go absolutely massive, and if there's anywhere that a jet can really pop off with that ultimate, it is on Ascent. There is a lot of plays that you can use those updrafts with to find early bird angles on where KOVA are going to be approaching from. The problem is that KOVA's weaponry is going to enable them so much aggression.
It's a timeout for them as they try and figure out what they want to do here. They have ultimates available for them, but KOVA seem to have come up with an answer, and in the dying moments of every round, just win out those 1v1s, either better weaponry, better timing, upper hand in terms of positioning. Something goes wrong for Hookahs and they don't manage to win out that final fight. They're getting themselves to the finish line, they just need to cross it. And they took a while to warm up yesterday, first map against Finest. Took them a whole 13 rounds to figure out exactly if they wanted to win the map or not. And in the end they did. So you can never count out Hookahs. But things are still looking a little dire against a team that is not quite the same as Finest.
Oh, they're gonna be expecting it. Yep. There's the haunt. David is forced to pull back into Wine, gets one, but the Blade Storm has already been lost, and it needs to find a little bit more impact than just one person's skull, Twiggy. As now KOVA know they have such a huge upper hand. Hookahs just lost that massive threat that is keeping all of these rifles, all of that aggression at bay, and they're more than happy to just put a little bit of pressure, try and bait out more positions from where Hookahs are. They already know that KO is there because the flash drive was used to help David try and dash out and find that pick. He's been able to weed out one, but they have to know that that B site is looking a little bit tastier.
They have mid-control, they have a little control over to B. They're slowly going for it. Here comes the Nightfall. Mishu is ready to get back towards site, but he's been caught by the Haunt, and now he's fully open. All of these players know exactly where he is. He'll manage to get a shot off onto Ale, but no more than that. Vicious will take his head off mast in towards back of sight. But Vicious, he'll deal with that too. Ale onto Sunshine, and now just Akimbo's left, and he can't find anything else, and it seems like their hope is dwindling coming into match point.
Yeah, KOVA really playing with all parts of this map, right? Going for these fakes, creating a lot of noise early on in these rounds, forcing Hookahs into sitting deep into these sites very late on, and because they lack that mid-control at the start of these rounds, KOVA know it's safe for them to cross, they don't have to spend utility, and worse for Hookahs, they can actually leave players lurking. The fact that both Shed and Ale are so far away from where the spike actually is goes to show how confident KOVA are, knowing that they're not going to be outnumbered, that they can punish Hookahs on these rotations. But for Hookahs, this is a buy that can let them come back through. The operator can be absolutely massive early on if David is able to find this first pick, but it's going to be so hard through. The Nebula walks past into the smoke, past the Prowler, right to a death sentence.
I'm trying to figure out what went through David's mind there.
I think it was that Kimbo should have been a little bit closer to flash that one, because that Jet walked straight through the smoke into the frying pan.
There's a bold choice with an operator in hand, and now they're a player down coming into the other team's match point. They cannot give away any more than that as they spread across the map thinly to try and figure out not only where KOVA are coming from, but how they can formulate a defense against it, whether they want to go for a retake, whether they want to try and stop them in their tracks, slow them down. 50 seconds left in the round. They'd have to slow them down a massive amount.
Sunshine does have lockdown. That is one thing that you can use to instantly slow this team down, and he is sitting on A site, very safe, away from the conflict. Should be able to help with the team, but Akimbo is able to find 2, and suddenly Hookahs are back in this race.
KOVA hesitate for just a moment, and it allows Kimbo to get all the way in behind, and now KOVA are down a member. They don't have the spike in hand. They don't have any way of getting near it, really. It is going to be Shed who tries to open this up, but a pop flash from Akimbo. Summer is there to find the kill. Shed and Summer get on the board once again, masked onto Vicious, and he's the one holding down sight, but Shed will finish it off. They'll make it 13-7, and KOVA take Hookahs' map pick.
Yeah, well, Hookah is unfortunately not able to get that win on their own map pick, and that's a little concerning as the next one, KOVA were the ones who chose it, and KOVA's already in the lead, and if anything, if I remember correctly, I'm just going to say this off at the top of my head, the majority of talent expected Hookah to be walking away with the win. So, MP, what went wrong?
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily what went wrong. Obviously, there was mistakes, a lot of them. But it was Ale getting back on that race. Obviously, KOVA, they have had so many role issues. They have been, obviously, when Shed and Ale came in this team, or Shed and Ale, both are duelists, but they have been playing Ale on this kind of initiator role, playing a little bit flex role, but now Ale back to the race. 124 games on race for Ale, 257 ACS. Average, and that is insane. We saw that right here, Ale just popping off. I think it was like 25, 27 that he ended up with. Yeah, Hookahs, they had some good stuff. They had some interesting stuff. A lot of mistakes here and there, but I would still highlight Ale and KOVA's ability to come on that attacking side.
Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't a question of what went wrong for Hookahs. It was what went right for KOVA. And a lot of things started, they started to plug those gaps that we saw in towards yesterday, which was so prevalent in their playstyle. They really did struggle at times yesterday. They looked just a little bit out of their depth, like a stone in water. Today, though, they were floating so proudly. I mean, it was such a good performance from them. The consistency was there. And you mentioned Ale. I mean, what a performance he had individually. He was, without a shadow of a doubt, the shining star.
Yeah, Reina, maybe not the agent to be picking, but the Rays, it really worked out in their favor. And Hookahs, if anything, not looking as crisp as we might have expected them to be looking today.
Yeah, a little bit, I mean, slow starting, maybe, potentially, but that was not the Hookahs we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Not at all. When we consider yesterday's matchup, Hookahs versus Finance, that went down to the wire. Each and every map was such a brawl, such a battle, and that one, they just seemed to fizzle out a little bit, and it was very questionable. And now it's a case of, do they have that sort of finest resurgence about them to be able to turn this back around? Because, I mean, as we mentioned, this is the lower bracket, it's do or die.
Yeah, exactly. MVP is highlighted as well. We already spoke about Ale on the Rays, how big of an impact he's had on that agent, specifically on this map, on Ascent. David also highlighted on the Jet, maybe not as big of an impact. Do you think maybe MP that could potentially represent the downfall?
Yeah, absolutely. I think David, especially on that last round, you saw David had a mistake, huge mistake. Obviously Nebula coming in, but actually it's not Nebula. It's the Astra taking the star back. David going for the aggressive picks, wants to push through the smoke. Oops. The star is gone. Smoke right there. David gets caught off guard. I think there was few of those kind of mistakes. And when you're operator and you make that kind of mistake, especially on that last round, it's crucial to your team when you have to be the one who goes for the first kills, have to get those first kills, get those entries for your team.
No, agreed. And I think one thing you mentioned there, which is so important, was the first kill. It seemed on such a consistent basis that KOVA were finding that opening pick. And because of it, no matter if they're on the defender side or the attack attacking side, they could just play the numbers advantage. It's so simple, but it's
Yeah.
so effective. And with this sort of pressure on their shoulders, that makes such a big difference. There was a couple of times where Hookahs were forced into early save calls or early kind of moments of passivity just to see if they could even attempt a retake, and they knew they couldn't because they could not play the numbers game. That was such a big factor. And then that's again where we do have to highlight Arle because he was so
Yeah.
aggressive. You could kind of see that confidence was flowing through his veins. He did not care.
Yeah, and another player that was really confident and had it flowing through their veins was specifically Mishu. We highlighted him earlier on in that pre-show as well. But MP, round 7,
Yeah.
what was that?
Yeah, I mean, Mishu obviously on this round 7 had insane performance in kills, but we have to look at how the round is built. Mishu is on short, where 3 of the players is on A main. Obviously, Sunshine dying early on B means that Mishu has to be the one who covers that Killjoy lockdown when it's coming in. They know KOVA is gonna play this retake. It's so common. And look at this, easy side for Hookahs. Mishu left all alone. The first frag is so important. Also, a huge mistake from KOVA. Mishu getting that Killjoy lockdown is the most important thing in this round, but still, 30 HP. This guy is menaced. It's literally
just keeps
insane how
going.
KOVA can kill him.
It's ridiculous. I mean, when you look towards that, I was kind of saying earlier, it wasn't a question of what went wrong for Hookahs, what went right for KOVA. In that case, it was what went wrong for Hookahs, and the teamwork and synergy wasn't there. The cohesion was very, very prevalent, that the comms were all over the place.
Yeah.
Because someone dies, and at the same time someone's dying, they're putting a Killjoy lockdown down. I mean, that is not how you play those sort of rounds. They have no coverage or clearance over towards brackets, over towards short, no clearance of garden, and because of that, it's such a risky place to put a lockdown down. And yeah, he finds 3 kills. That's fantastic. That's not what wins the round. It's getting rid of that lockdown. That more or less confirms them all coverage over towards that A site because they literally cannot seem to even fathom a retake then. And then on top of that, the fact that he just found 3 kills is once again, as we mentioned, they're playing the numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, and hopefully the break that we're going to be heading to is going to give both of these teams an opportunity to kind of clear it up, get back into those comms, get back into the mindset as we're going to be heading into the second map of the first game of playoffs day 2. So don't go anywhere because we'll be back very shortly.
Party's over. Spike down A. One enemy remaining. You're welcome. Hey, people.
Hi, my name is Jesmund. I'm the IGL and captain for Team KOVA.
My name is Hampus, and I go by the nickname Supma, and I'm a controller player for KOVA.
I would say beating Alliance and qualifying for playoffs, that was huge for us, and also beating Finest, it always feels good to beat Yasin and Bonkar.
We have kinda dropped any specific playstyle or roles in the team, so we're kind of picking on comfort right now, and I think will become really unpredictable to play against.
I think we have found a good way to play the game, and everyone is feeling comfortable.
Alle maybe, yes, I think he has stepped up a lot, and he's been fragging really hard.
I also would say Ale, because I talked about him like having a rough split last season, but he has stepped a lot, and now he's looking really scary.
Beating Finest, it's a very good team, and it was a very important win for us as well. We only qualified by 1 win, so at the end every win was important, and I felt like Finest is one of the better teams, so it was satisfying to win them.
Individually picking up Astra and actually mastering a new agent that I can play against good teams also. I think it comes down to changing up a plan, like every opponent we're playing against, and I think we're just gonna be like tough matchup to play against because the way we can adapt in game and like outside game also.